Hey everyone, Cadams Tech here. So in today's video, I want to discuss what it was like as a junior software engineer for me in my first role that I ever got. But first, if you're new to my channel, remember to like, subscribe, and share my channel with anyone that you know is interested in learning development. All right, let's get on to it. Wow. Let me go many years back. This is around about 8 years now. 8 years, man. Time flies by when you're having a blast. All right, so what it was like when I was a junior software engineer. Well, I remember that I was learning HTML and CSS, and then around that time I was attending meetups. And I was also just getting into some JavaScript too, but mostly I started off with HTML and CSS. I was attending meetups in my local area, and I think one of the first couple of times that I was there every single week though, to the same meetup. It was called Open Code, and I was at this meetup every single Wednesday of every single week because they ran it once a week. And I did that for like a year. I did it for a couple years probably, but during the course of this, like one of the first couple times that I attended these meetups, I actually ended up forming connections with some people, and those people ended up being one of them was my engineering manager, and another was my coworker, and actually another was another coworker. So I met several people through meetups. I ended up working with 3 different people at the same job that I knew from meetups, which is crazy. But the meetups were huge, learning HTML and CSS and JavaScript. I was mostly all on the front end at first when embarking on my web development career. Before that, I did just a little bit of Python in school, just enough to pass, I think, like 3 Python classes, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and it literally went through the book from cover to cover. I landed a job. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I landed a job as a junior software engineer because the engineering manager that I met at the meetup was keeping tabs on me. I would constantly, like, here and there, reach out to him every couple weeks or so and share, hey, I've been learning a lot and I think I'm ready for a junior software engineering role. And at the time, at first, he was like, I don't think your skills are quite there yet. Keep it up, keep going, and then reach back when you can show me a little more. Like, because he would look at my projects. And he would want to see what I've been learning, what I'm capable of. So he's keeping an eye on me. So periodically, I would reach out to him via Slack, and I would say, yeah, I feel like I'm ready for a junior software engineering job. And then at a certain point, he was like, apply to my company. And that was my ticket in. That's my ticket in right there. And then in addition to that, he actually hired someone else that I became really good friends with, and I was regular with them at the Open Code meetup. He ended up hiring him before me because he was a computer science graduate. I had no degree. He had projects that he built on his own time, for his own self, from scratch, that were pretty in-depth. Like, they were very intricate. They had a lot of different components to them, and it was a web app, but they have, everything. They had the login system, they had the account settings area, they had managing all of these little tiny things that are important to the application. He spent hundreds and hundreds of hours on a couple of different projects, and you could really tell, you could really see it in the way it was put together and the way it behaved and the amount of features that it had, and everything was rolled from scratch too. So he had the skills. So that's what I was doing. So in my own time, I was working on building something impressive, something that would impress an employer during an interview and show them that, hey, I don't just build tic-tac-toe apps and apps that are, you can find on courses. I'm actually building something real here. I'm building something that is deep. I'm building something that can showcase many different aspects of an application, from security to knowing how to build a UI, to knowing how to insert stuff and read and update and delete from the database, to know how to write cleaner code, to know how to structure and scale an application from very, very small to enterprise level, potentially, things of that nature. So that's what they want to look for. That's what they want to see. So I got the job as a junior software engineer. Now, I remember I got the offer, and I was super excited to go to my email and see what the offer letter even looked like. Before that, I was working in restaurants and delivery driving and things like that. So I wasn't making a salary. I never made a salary up until this point. And I saw the offer letter, and I saw the number on it, and I was like, okay, I accept. But it definitely, like, it helped. It probably like quadrupled my pay overnight, basically, and it was crazy. Then I had benefits. I never had benefits in my life through work. Well, that's not true. I actually did when I worked at a tire place, but never really had benefits for instability for longer than a couple months, I think. So it was cool to have the whole package, like health, dental, vision, 401k, things like that. It was a huge difference, like paid time off. I never had paid time off. When I worked in restaurants and delivery drove, you took a hit. If you were sick, you call out for any reason, you basically lost that day's pay, or that, whatever, that week's pay. It's pretty harsh. It's pretty harsh. All right, so I saw the offer. I was like, yep, I accept. I gladly accept. I'm super excited, I remember after I got the offer letter, it was both a feeling of excitement and, oh my God, what did I get myself into? I'm going to be starting at a company with a ton of smart individuals, and am I going to be smart enough? Am I going to be up to par to work amongst them, to work with them? It was very, very scary, and even when it was I had friends already working there. Even when I already had friends working there that I met through meetups and that I formed close friendships with, even that was daunting to me, because I was like, what if I let my friends down? Like, what if I do a bad job and I let them down? I'm not just letting the company down and myself down, but I'm letting my friends down. And whew, tough. Additionally, I had more pressure on me because my wife was pregnant. My wife was pregnant with my first kid. I was in my 20s, and she was to be a stay-at-home mom, right? So we're a single income household, and all of that is on me. And this is my new career, and my wife's pregnant, and I have to provide, and I have to make sure I do a good job, and I have to make sure that I don't get fired, quite frankly. Like, I have a lot riding on it. What if I get fired? How long is it going to take me to find another job? I'm a junior, and this is my golden ticket. So that definitely prompted me to work harder. So I got the job. I definitely worked harder and more than I needed to. And it did not go unnoticed. It did not go unnoticed at all. Like, I was praised very often, and they really appreciated me. Job, okay, boom. My first day on the job. Wow. So I'm driving to work. I'm thinking, I'm excited. I was like screaming, man. I was playing the music loud. I had the windows down, and I was like, whoa, so excited on the way to work. I was so excited. You gotta let that excitement happen. It's fun. Super excited. Yeah! Probably like yelling something like, yeah, hell yeah! Doing that stuff on the way to work. And then got to work, got out of my car, had my backpack. I didn't bring a laptop. I didn't bring my personal computer at that time because I'm about to be provisioned a computer. So I go into the building, and I know where, they show me where I'm going to sit, basically. Like, I'm introduced to everyone at the company. So we walk around to the different offices, and I shake hands and I meet people, and I have a big smile on my face, and I'm looking professional. I'm dressing professional the first day, I say, and then after that, I was jeans and a t-shirt from there on out, because everyone else was pretty relaxed, and then eventually it became from jeans and the t-shirt to shorts to shorts. All right, so we walk back to the desk area. I see where I'm sitting. I get provisioned a computer, and we just do the syllabus style stuff. You know, like the first day, actually sometimes even the first week, depending on the company and the position. You're pretty much doing nothing but onboarding, right? So you're setting up your laptop, you're downloading all of these different tools, you're signing up for all of these different accounts, you're having to fill out maybe some additional paperwork. You have direct deposit slips, you have to get enrolled in your benefits, you have to get enrolled in all kinds of things, right? So you do all of that. So the first week's actually pretty chill. They shouldn't really give you anything hectic, right? It should be just getting comfortable, getting acclimated to the situation. And after all of that, after the first week, then I started getting handed some tasks, right? Some actual real tasks. I think the very first thing I had to do at this new company was I had to build an admin internal dashboard of sorts, right? And this internal dashboard that I had to do was basically like the landing page. It was like different tiles with different links, and I had to redesign the entire dashboard. And it was a fancier dashboard. It looked pretty cool, actually. It had like tiles that were rectangular, and they were bigger, they were larger, but they had a really cool style. They had different icons. They had a cool flexible layout at the time. This was 8 years ago, so a lot of this I rolled from scratch. They did have Bootstrap and stuff like that 8 years ago, but a lot of it I rolled from scratch, and I built search for it, and different things like that. So it was actually a pretty easy first task for me, which is nice of the company. I know they were trying to keep it light and try and get my feet wet and try and introduce me into harder and harder concepts gradually. And I would say during my time there, they did a good job of gradually increasing the difficulty of the different assignments that I was handed throughout the years that I was there. So I built this dashboard for them. It was a huge success. The higher up of the company liked it. My engineering manager liked it. Everyone used it for anything internal. They used this dashboard. So it's cool because it was something that I was proud of. It was one of my first things I did, and it was something that everyone in the company used internally. Yeah, aside from that, as a junior, I actually was really, really lucky because the company that I worked for had an amazing culture, absolutely amazing culture. Like, HR was lax as hell. We actually didn't even really have an HR. The CEO was HR. It was lax, super lax. Everyone was chill. As long as you got your stuff done, everyone is cool. Just get along with everyone. Everyone was super friendly that I worked with. They are all my friends. Like, it was a fantastic company to work for. It's a very rare occurrence, I think, to have something like that I had. But it was a great experience. That aside, I don't know what else. It's just cool. It was a cool feeling. I made it to the big leagues. I was getting good pay. I was doing what I really, really, really like to do. Like, coding to me feels like playing video games. It feels like skateboarding. Those are some of the most fun things that I like to do on this earth, is skateboarding and playing video games, and coding is very much the same way to me. It's really, really fun. So getting paid really good money to do what I really like to do, and to work with people that I really like to work with, it's just amazing, man. It's hard to explain, but it's just, I have this feeling, and I have many, 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 many fond memories of being a junior. I have many fond memories of right before I became a junior, right before I got hired, when I was learning how to code. I absolutely loved that. I have fond memories of that. So enjoy the process, honestly. I know it feels like in the moment, like, oh, I need a job. And sometimes, yes, you really, really do need the job. There's some of you that are watching this that really, really do. But there's others that maybe are more fortunate situation where they have a little more time. Maybe they're living at home with their parents and they're still young and they have some time to just enjoy the process of learning and trying to grow in your skills. Like, I remember back when I was writing my first line of code, and I can think through the entire process of when I wrote my first line of code to when I started getting better at writing code to when I started you know, building basic UI to now I can build really, really nice UI in a shorter period of time. And it's second nature to me. Like a lot of this stuff, it's like as easy as just reading a book. I can lay down the code and read code that way. So just take time enjoying the process. Try and appreciate it in the moment. Don't look at it like it's a race. Yep, so at this position, I should specify that I did HTML, CSS, React, PHP, and Node. And throughout the time there, I was there for 4 years. I went from junior to mid in the first year that I was working in there. And then I was mid to upper mid by the time I left. I was upper mid. Actually, the time I left, I was senior, because the next position I got was senior. So from 4 years, I went from junior to senior. And I went from junior to mid the very first year. Every single year I was there, I received a raise. So projects, as a junior, I was handed a lot of, I did full stack. So I did front end, I did the back end, and the back end we did PHP and MySQL, and then Node. So I had my hands in a lot of that stuff. I had my hands in the front end. I was also handed more sophisticated projects. I was a full stack engineer, so I was handed a lot of full stack things to do. I worked on the customer facing side of things where they actually used our platform, but I also built internal tools for our support team and for finance and accounting and things of that nature. So I would have many, many, many little mini full stack features to build that involved the UI to sending the request to the back end, to doing something in the database, validation on both the front end and the server, things like that. So I had a bunch of little mini full stack features to build out. And then I also had some larger features too as a junior. So that's what I did as a junior for the first year, because I was a junior for 1 year. A lot of mini full stack features. So it was cool because they didn't hand me anything like too overwhelming. It's just a lot of mini full stack features. And then the second year after that, so when I became a mid, they definitely upped the ante and gave me harder things to work on, much harder things to work on. Anyways, this video was completely unplanned. I know it was a bit rambly. I was just trying to just right off the top of my head think about the fond memories and the process of being a junior software engineer. If there's anything about that first position that you guys would like to know, leave me a